Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me today for an episode that I am really excited about. Have a pretty big new card that came in for the collection. Won this on eBay and have been waiting anxiously to get my hands on this. It's a pretty epic card, and I really recommend sticking it out, even if you're not a big hockey fan or hockey card collector, because I think this is a cool enough and unique enough card that it kind of transcends, all sports in collecting and is really just unique in and of its own right. So a little bit of a background or a lead-in. Have in front of you here the 88-89 Topps Patrick Waugh. That's his third year card on the Thumbtack release from Topps. Been trying to pick all those up, or all the Hall of Famers from that set up in PSA 9 slabs, and that's another one towards that end. I've had that card for many years, but I've never featured it here on the channel yet, but I thought this was a good opportunity to roll it out for today's video, as well as this card here, which is his second year Topps card from 1987. The Patrick Waugh, also in a PSA Fine 9, courtesy of Topps Hockey from 1987. So for those of you who are maybe not hockey collectors or fans of the game, I'm not going to do an in-depth, breakdown of Patrick's career. But suffice it to say, he's generally regarded as a, no contest top 5 goalie of all time. Just about every list I've ever read of top goaltenders or article or countdown, he's almost always within the top 3. And I would say he's often actually regarded as the number 1 goaltender of all time. So there's a whole separate debate there that we're not going to get into today. But suffice it to say, he is one of the best goalies in the 100+ year history of the NHL. He revolutionized the position. He was, a champion and a clutch player, and somebody who's generally regarded as a top goalie of all time. But another thing that is cool about Patrick Waugh, he also collected or collects sports memorabilia and trading cards, which is really cool. You do hear of athletes doing that from time to time. Patrick is probably one of the better athletes that I've heard of that gets into the hobby to some extent. He's had auctions in the past that I'm aware of where he's, auctioned off memorabilia that he wore in games or used, maybe sticks or jerseys, as well as other players' memorabilia that he ended up with over the years, and even some trading cards. I think there was a Bobby Orr rookie at one point that belonged to him that was auctioned off. So he's involved to some extent in the hobby. And I found recently during some eBay searching and saved searches that I had set up, that a couple of batches of items from Patrick's personal collection were up for auction on eBay. I think Four Sharp Corners, had one bunch, and then I don't remember if it was Greg Morris maybe had the other bunch, but these were trading cards owned by Patrick Waugh in his private collection that as such were actually slabbed by the grading company and noted that they were from the Patrick Waugh collection, personal collection. So I thought that was kind of a novel concept. My buddy Brian over at Walk and Balk texted a link out on a group thread that we're on to a card that was a Patrick Waugh owned card that he had noticed as well in one of those 2 batches. And after getting that text from Brian, I kind of thought, it would be cool if there was a way to get a Patrick Waugh owned Patrick Waugh card. Because a lot of the stuff he had was all great. I mean, high grade, Mario Lemieux, Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, that kind of stuff. Obviously, you can imagine the bankroll that Patrick had available to throw at the hobby. So he had some very nice examples of these cards in his collection, and they were selling for pretty big money. But Brian's text got me to searching kind of last minute. And I, right at the time that I searched, I found the card that I was kind of dreaming of, and it was ending in just a few minutes. And I was able to amazingly be the top bidder on this card. I did not expect to win. I did throw a decent bid at this card, but the fact that it came home at the price point that it did, I thought I would be blown out of the water on this, and I just couldn't be happier that it's part of my collection now. And as you may have been able to predict with the lead-in, this is the 1986 Topps Patrick Waugh rookie card. It's in an SGC Tux, SGC 8. I think most of the Patrick Waugh collection cards were in SGC holders. So this is a beautiful example of this card. I mean, it's well centered. There's no issues with the corners. This is the type of card I would buy all day long. It's one of the most iconic hockey cards of the 1980s. But as I said in the lead-in, what drew me to this is the Patrick Waugh collection Patrick Waugh rookie card. So that is a card that was actually owned by the Hall of Fame netminder who is depicted on the front of the card. And I just thought that was beyond awesome. I can totally see how some people would find this to be a little bit gimmicky. I certainly wouldn't pay through the nose for something like this, but honestly, in doing my research in the few minutes that I had available before I had to place a bid, I was pretty comfortable that, where I put my max bid in was about what was fair market value for just an SGC 8 of this card, Waugh collection aside. And I feel like I got this card at good value for any SGC 8, and I'm really just stunned that this one kind of fell through the cracks to my bid, and I was able to take this home. I mean, a Hall of Famer, a Stanley Cup champion multiple times over, and arguably the best ever to play the position of netminder in the NHL. I'm still just astonished, like, even after having this in hand for a day or two here, at how cool this is to have his own rookie card that he had in his personal collection of himself and looked at and enjoyed over the years. So just a really unique item. Gave me more of a jolt than probably anything I've picked up in recent memory, as far as just being like a cornerstone card for my hockey collection. And it's not every day that you can get a card of a Hall of Famer that was owned by that Hall of Famer and is documented as such right on the label. So awesome Patrick Waugh there. The back, I'm not sure if I showed. I think I did briefly, but nice and clean as well. A little bit off center from top to bottom on the back. Maybe that's why I got an SGC 8, but that's not really the point. I would have bid on this card even if it had a grade of, 4 and a wrinkle through the middle, because it was more about the opportunity to get or have that little extra touch of it being, the rookie card that was owned by the man himself. So pretty happy with this one. Certainly appreciate you stopping by to check it out. Really, really excited to add this one to the collection, and I'll be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. In the meantime, if you've ever owned a card that has been owned by an athlete or have any stories similar to that, would love to hear about it below, and we'll be back soon. Until then, take care.